today, and it is going to be a special treat for us. If you have questions or input you'd like to provide us, the studio phone number here is 844 Studio 4, 844 788 3464. So feel free to call. We'll take your questions, and I am so honored today to have one of my good friends and associates in the world of affordable housing, workforce housing here in our town. I've worked pretty hard to make that a bigger priority here in our town, and sure enough, we have moved the needle somewhat. And I want to be clear that we are not there, but I want our audience to be informed as to where we are and where we plan to go with creating some solutions as it relates to allowing folks that want to live here be able to afford to live here as well. So, my guest today is the executive director of our Community Development Corporation, the Lake Norman Community Development Corporation, Michelle Hoverson. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here with you today.
So glad to have you today. And just to give you a little history of how we got to this particular point here in our community, I'm pretty proud of it. It all began with actually uh, Michelle bringing up some needs here in our community, and I'll let her tell you that story as we turn to her in just a moment about the need for additional affordable housing and workforce housing in our community. It's a fact. We did a study at the town of Cornelius level that 85% of the people that work in Cornelius can't afford to live here and don't live here. Only 15% of the folks that work in our great town can afford to live here as well. And that includes our police officers, our firemen, our teachers, our town employees, our retail workers. The list goes on and on. And to me, that's not acceptable. It really is just not acceptable. And we must move that needle. So, uh, back a couple years ago, I don't remember that date, Michelle, uh, we formed a mayor's committee on affordable housing here in Cornelius. And it was such a pleasure to put together a wonderful first class group of citizens that were so bought into the need for affordable housing in our community that we studied it. We excelled in getting to the bottom of finding solutions to that. And I won't go over all of the members of that committee. There's a large committee, wasn't it, Michelle? Probably
Close to
almost,
30, I would say.
yeah, something like
Wide
that.
discipline of individuals.
It was. We had all kinds of trades that were involved, from realtors to accountants to bankers to
Hmm.
ministers, and we did involve the faith-based community as well. And out of that, one of our individuals certainly rose to the top in her passion for affordable housing, and that would be Michelle Hoverson. Michelle, I think it would be great to start out I want to talk about this Affordable Housing Committee because it's officially still moving forward. However, I want us to get into the details and the good decisions that the Affordable Housing Committee, with the blessing of the town board at that time, uh, directed us to go form a community development corporation. But what led you to that? Give me a little history of you and why this passion for affordable housing in our
Mm.
community.
Well, I served as an associate pastor in both Virginia and then for 17 years at Grace Covenant in Cornelius, and retired from that sector or that assignment in 2018 after starting the Neighborhood Care Center in Cornelius. And what I found in my 24 years of ministry was that I was having to help a lot of people find affordable housing. I would have a lot of individuals coming into the office very nervous and concerned that they were going to have to uproot their kids from school. They were going to have to leave their faith community because they could no longer afford to live where they were staying. rent going up or couldn't afford a mortgage in the area or whatever. And so I just saw a lot of people in the stress of not being able to afford to live where they wanted to live, and being very cost burdened. And it was just an ongoing frustration in my life to watch those individuals so discouraged that they couldn't live where they served.
I know that is the basis for this entire concern. I know you told me a beautiful story one time that really got my attention, and I remember where we were standing out at a 9/11 service outside Fire Department number 1 here in Cornelius, and that was a story, and I'll let you elaborate on it, of a single person that lived here in our town with multiple children that was going to have to move and take those kids out of the schools and create all this havoc and change, you know, for those little ones. Isn't that correct?
Right. She's actually a small business owner. So a small business owner in Cornelius, and her rent was going up substantially, almost 30, probably 30% at that time, with four children at home. Couple were attending college, but a couple still in high school. And she was going to have to move to north of Mooresville to be able to afford a place to live. And her sons had been in the school system, a Cornelius school system, for quite some time. And that's a huge uprooting in a young person's life. And that was just kind of a red line for me. Like, we've got to do something about this, because this one story represents a lot of stories. You know, people tend to think when they hear the word affordable housing, they tend to go to the image of low income housing, you know, cars up on cinder blocks and things like that. But affordable housing is when an individual doesn't have to spend more than 30% of their income on housing. And we have a wide range of individuals in all kinds of disciplines, as you mentioned earlier, from police officers, firefighters, small business owners, that are cost burdened because they're having to spend 40 to 50% on housing.
That is
not affordable.
That is definitely not affordable, and you know, solutions don't come easy to this particular aspect of a challenge here in our community or any community. More to come on the Cornelius Lake Norman Community Development Corporation, and here with my guest, Michelle Hoverson, Executive Director. This is Mayor Woody Washam. Be back soon.
About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam will return after this short break on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Looking for a night of laughs? Mike Goodwin, who's been on America's Got Talent, is coming to Kane Center for the Arts here in Cornelius. Saturday, September 9th. Kane Center for the Arts' 2024 fall season. Comedian Mike Goodwin, Saturday, September 9th. For more info, visit canearts.org. Apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is almost here. The apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is a very short window. September 5th through the 30th, apple picking at Kerrigan Farms. Only in September. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. Leonard Skinnard and ZZ Top, the Sharp Dress Simple Man Tour, this Friday at PNC Music Pavilion. Watch two iconic bands at a great venue, Leonard Skinnard and ZZ Top, this Friday at PNC Pavilion. Have you ever been to Davidson's Concerts at the Circles? This weekend you can go! Davidson's Concert at the Circles will feature 80s Nation, an 80s tribute band. Concerts at the Circles, Jeton Street by Clean Juice in Davidson. NASCAR is back at Darlington this weekend. Xfinity race starts at 3:30 on Saturday and Cup Series at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Thanks again to Drum Landscape Supply in Statesville for the Days of Darlington ticket giveaway contest at WSIC. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Partly sunny, then gradually becoming mostly sunny, the high near 81 for today. Tonight looks clear with a low around 57. 79 and sunny for Friday, with partly cloudy skies for Friday night and a low around 57. Saturday will be sunny with a high near 81. And Saturday night looks mostly clear with a low around 59. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
Call now to speak with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam at 844 Studio 4. It's About Town on the new 1059 100.7 WSIC.
76 years strong, and we're still the one. WSIC. News. Talk. Now.
Mayor Woody Washam here from Cornelius, and our topic of this day is affordable housing and the Lake Norman Community Development Corporation. And I'm here with the Executive Director, Michelle Hoverson, and we were just talking about the topic at hand here today, and a thing that came to my mind was when affordable housing is unattainable in a community, what does that create for a community? What are we dealing with here?
Well, individuals that are struggling to find affordable housing face a lot of challenges. One, there's a definite health impact on individuals because it's very stressful when you're having to pay 40-50% of your income on housing, or the stress of thinking that you're going to have to move somewhere that you can't afford. But I also think that there's a huge impact on a community when it comes to employers, because in order for companies to recruit and retain the individuals that they need, many of those employees want to make sure that they're not having to drive 30 and 40 miles to get to work. So having affordable housing attainable in a community is very important to the employment base that's within a community. I also just think that, there are a lot of people who just have a dream that life is going to get a little better. And when housing is unattainable consistently in an area where you work, that dream starts to become very diminished. And that brings a hopelessness into people's lives, and it just feels like you're on a treadmill going nowhere. So affordable housing is important to our community in a variety of ways. Plus, I'd also say that in any community, Mayor, we know we want a wide variety of individuals living in our community, right?
Exactly.
We want to be a mosaic of individuals. And so when housing starts to become unattainable for certain workforce individuals, then the community begins to lose that mosaic, and that's not healthy for any community.
It's absolutely not, and I want folks to know that your town, the town of Cornelius, have stepped up.
Yes.
We're not where we need to be yet, but we're doing some things, particularly with our public safety officers and our town employees, that will make a difference for them being able to live in the town that they serve.
Mm-hmm.
How cool is it that a police officer can reside in the town that they serve, drive that police car home, be visible in their community, and truly make a difference that way in many ways?
Yeah, I had a conversation not too long ago with one of the police officers in Cornelius, and he was sharing with me how meaningful it was when he and his family were able to move into Cornelius. And one of the things he shared with me is he said, Michelle, you don't know how valuable it is when I can do a little pickup basketball with the kids that I see down the street, or
Sure.
I'm running into families in the grocery store. there's something about that community involvement on a regular basis, not just through the job, that makes things better in relationship to law enforcement in the community. So there's a lot of unseen advantages to being able to live where you work.
Absolutely. We're expanding that program as much as we possibly can, but certainly we would encourage other major employers in our community to do the same. So I'll put that word out there, and we'll be offering you opportunities to make contributions to our Lake Norman Community Development Corporation to actually put some guidelines around this process of allowing affordability in our community to expand. We've got to do that, and so a lot more to come on that as we move forward in the weeks and months ahead. That continues to be one of my goals as mayor of this town, to make sure that that effort continues and strengthens over the next few years ahead. So very, very, very excited about that. So anyway, back to the Mayor's Affordable Housing Committee. One of the major outgrowths, as we noted earlier, was the formation of the now called Lake Norman Community Development Corporation. We started out with the name Cornelius, and it's bigger than that. We realized that it is going to be important one day for us to be able to work with our neighbors,
Exactly.
as in Huntersville and Davidson and maybe Mooresville and beyond. So the name was expanded. But our concentration still at this particular point, as we are being continued to incubate, if you will, is certainly Cornelius.
Yes.
But we're definitely looking beyond. I do know that Huntersville has a program like this a little bit behind us, but they're beginning as well, and you're helping them with that particular piece of it as well. So my point is, one of the neatest things that came out of the Affordable Housing Committee that formed a couple years ago was the formation of our own Community Development Corporation. Town Board approved it. We provide some initial funding for you. We continue to provide some funding along the way. So tell us what it was like to get an organization like that moving and incubated, if you will, and giving birth, actually, because you're on your way.
Yeah, and we're not even a year old really yet. Not until mid-September will be our 1-year anniversary. So it was actually a lot of fun because we had people who were really excited about it, and our initial board were predominantly people who had served on that task force, a few outside of the task force who are just very passionate about this topic and have some disciplines that we needed. But we were able to get a board together pretty quickly and get incorporated and, get all of that established. Launching it from just an organizational standpoint was the easy part. Starting to come up with, okay, how are we going to tackle this giant mountain is another story. Because attainable affordable housing is complex, very complex. And but we realize we have a unique opportunity to bring in the public sector, to bring in private sector, to bring in developers, real estate people, and employers. And if we'll all work together and partner together, I think we can make a significant difference. There was, as we were developing a rental program, which is one of the things that we were tasked with early on, was to develop a workforce rental assistance program as well as some transitional housing. There was a situation that arose within the nation that affected people in Cornelius that there was a unique opportunity to solve an immediate problem and make an impact on some seniors' lives right away.
Yes.
And I don't know if time allows us now to go into that story, or if we want to pick it up later. But we've really been able to help some seniors. So should I go ahead with that, with what that program was and what came
We'll
up on
probably
that?
hold that to the next segment, but those are exactly the examples that folks are hearing about this organization and reaching out. So Michelle Hoverson is becoming a household name, certainly in our town, in relation to not only the great ministry that she's had here, but now helping us solve this problem of affordability with folks being able of all, you know, genders and races and sectors of our town, pulling that together and allowing them to live here.
One of the things that we had to do when you were asking about starting up, one of the things that we decided to do was working with Ada Jenkins, we formed what's called the North Mech Affordable Housing Network.
Yes.
Because COVID had separated so many of the nonprofits who were working in this lane, and there were a lot of new directors and coordinators coming into place. So one of the things we wanted to do was bring everybody together and re-meet each other and find out what everybody was doing, like what lane of affordable housing are you driving down, so that we could begin to collaborate together, find projects together, and work together more post-COVID. And so we've had 3 of those sessions. We're getting ready for our next one in September. But I think that bringing together is probably about 16 agencies along with public sector. You have come to those. Mayor Biles has come to those. And some commissioners have attended. So bringing everybody into a room to talk about the issue and also understand what each other is doing, I think that's been something that in the early days of the Lake Norman CDC, we were able to bring to the community that has really benefited a lot of individuals. Not a specific program, but collaboration leads to better programs, right?
Absolutely. And, what is moving along in that particular process is folks are communicating with each other
Exactly.
and learning what others do for referral purposes and lots of different reasons that none of that was going on before. So there was great work going on. Don't get me wrong, some great work in relation to our topic, but in terms of having everybody know what everybody else was doing, because we all complement each other.
Right, and I've definitely seen an elevation in partnership over the last year between organizations, which is better stewardship of everybody's funding, right?
Right, exactly. So that has been a great effort. We'll touch base back with that because I think it's open to anybody that's interested in affordable housing. These sessions are, so we'd welcome folks there. Mayor Woody Washam here talking about affordable housing today with Michelle Hoverson, Lake Norman Community Development Corporation. We'll be right back.
There's more About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the way from the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Black Powder Coffee is celebrating their 10th anniversary with a medium dark roast blend of Indonesian and South American coffee beans. Enjoy the full-bodied natural flavor notes of chocolate with a bright finish. Get Black Powder Coffee's new anniversary blend today at Black Powder Coffee, 261 Rolling Hill Road, Mooresville, or participating retailers everywhere. Black Powder Coffee.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Partly sunny, then gradually becoming mostly sunny, the high near 81 for today. Tonight looks clear with a low around 57. 79 and sunny for Friday, with partly cloudy skies for Friday night and a low around 57. Saturday will be sunny with a high near 81. And Saturday night looks mostly clear with a low around 59. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
Eagle Rentals, making it easy for all your construction equipment rentals. They also have the generators, heaters, fans, painting equipment, floor equipment, pressure washing. They got it all over there, ready to help you with all of your jobs, making it easy. Eagle Rental also has those Husqvarna K1 Paste. Yes, the concrete saws, 93 volts. Get rid of all the fumes and all that stuff when you're working inside. Going electric at Eagle Rentals. Eagle Rentals in Troutman and in Statesville, making your work easy. Visit eaglerentals.com for more information. Go see them, eaglerentals.com.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. Our beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine has hosted many private parties, catered diners, and even an actual wedding. Please contact Andy at 704-252-1886 for more information. Thank you so much.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Bunch Johnson Funeral Home. Find us at dignitymemorial.com.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
It's About Town with Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Good morning again, folks. This is Mayor Woody Washam from Cornelius, and you're listening to About Town. So we're traveling about town today to visit our Lake Norman Community Development Corporation with our executive director there, Michelle Hoverson. Welcome back, Michelle,
Thank
and
you.
appreciate your efforts here on this topic in our town, and also appreciate you being with me today. So we were talking about this group of seniors in our town that really had a tragedy to strike, I would say, kind of out of their control recently. With the expiration of some tax credits in one of our communities here in town, the landlord didn't have any choice but to raise their rent 36%.
Some of the apartments were raised up to 30%, almost all over 15%.
Gotcha.
And it wasn't just in that property. Many apartment complexes in the Cornelius area, the rents increased over 15% in January. People started getting notices.
But when you're impacted with that, what do you do? I mean, there are people in that group that have lived there and lived in our town all their lives, as I have. And to think that at that particular point in time, when they're older and, in their later years, I was born here and I certainly want to die here, but, they just simply couldn't afford to do that. So, and where would they turn? I mean, that's the confusing part. Where would they turn? I know where they turn. They turn certainly to the town of Cornelius, and the town of Cornelius turned to our CDC for some help and advice as to how to maneuver through that.
Cornelius is such a wonderful place for people to move to, and there are a lot of individuals that are retiring here, and they move to Cornelius with a great 401k and wonderful assets, which is terrific. But as you said, we have a lot of seniors who live here, who have grown up here, who have worked here a lot of their life, and now they're on a fixed income with very, very limited assets. And when you have your rent go from $900 to $1,200, you get notice of that.
That's a big deal.
That's a really big deal. And you don't have options because you're in your 70s You just don't have options for making up that difference. I had people calling me saying, well, my $100 increase in Social Security is gone, plus I have to come up with more. So I'm really excited that that there were town commissioners that were interested in this problem and concerned about these individuals, and tasked us with a solution, finding a solution, which we did.
You really did. And is there funds left in that program, or where
Yes.
do we go from here?
Yes. So what the program is, it's quite simple. If someone can show us they're a senior and they can show us that their rent increased 15% or more in 2023, they can apply through our website or call my office, get a hold of us. It's just lakenormancdc.org. Or they can send an email to Michelle at lakenormancdc.org, and I'll send them an application. But now they do have to earn less than $49,000 a year. Their total income has to be less than $49,000. But if their rent has increased by 15% or more, we will assist with half of that increase for 1 year. So it gives individuals an opportunity to get their name on a waiting list somewhere else, gives them a breather to figure out what to do, just gives them a little bit of a pause on that increase, because a lot of the affordable, what are considered more affordable housing in Charlotte or some other areas, the waiting lists are 1 to 2 years. So this is giving people an opportunity to research those other options, and we help them make some connections for them if they really want to move out of the area. But it gives families an opportunity to make some decisions on how they'll handle the rent in the following year. So we've helped about 36 individuals. We've got 5, I think, applications in the pipeline right now, and we do still have some funding left. Yes.
Well, talk about I think you have an overall rental assistance program that's moving forward as well. Is that correct?
Yes, that's what we've put a lot of energy into since we were formed, is trying to figure out how can we provide more affordable housing without building more roofs, because that takes a while, right? So rental assistance is a short-term solution to a large problem, because building more affordable housing takes a lot of time, a lot of lead time in that. So it's taken us a while to come up with a program that we really feel would work, but we finally have designed something called the Rental Bridge program, and it is for income restricted employed individuals. So some call that workforce housing, but I prefer that phrase, income restricted, because of the like a teacher, there's just only so much that they can make unless they're out getting multiple jobs. So we will assist an individual. There's a formula that we have that we use for how much we'll assist them, but we're open to several $100s a month that we will assist them with their rent for 1 year, make a commitment to them, but they in turn go through a financial coaching program that takes about a year to go through. So while we're assisting them, we're also educating them in financial issues, so that at the end of that year, they're in a more stable position, or maybe they've made some career decisions. If they complete that financial coaching program successfully, then there's an option. If we have the funding, there's an option for them to have a second year of funding, because our hope is that over 2 years, with that financial literacy training and some financial decision making, they will be in a position to move forward in home ownership. And that, for many individuals, not everybody, but for many individuals, home ownership really solves a lot of housing insecurity, because, as you know, when you're renting, particularly the way the rates are right now in our area, average rent's $1,900, which means somebody needs to make $85,000 a year to be at that 30% housing cost. Not everybody around here makes $85,000 a year.
That's quite compelling.
So, if you're having to put out $1,800 a month for rent, you probably are having a very difficult time saving for home ownership. So, anyway, we're really hoping that we can be a bridge while someone is renting to home ownership. And we're just really excited. We've got our financial coaching partner in place, Prosperity Unlimited in Kannapolis. They have a great program. They're HUD certified. They'll be able to help people with home ownership options at the end of the financial coaching because they know all those programs. And we have about 9 applicants in the pipeline right now, and we're really excited. We're hoping that over the course of the next 12 months, we'll be able to help 25 to 30 individuals.
Well, that is absolutely awesome.
And several things, Mayor, one of the things I'm excited about is we have people who work in Cornelius, live in Charlotte, live in Statesville, that are trying to enter into this program so that they can move into our community. And that's really the heart of this program, is to bring people into the community where they serve.
Right. That is such a fantastic concept and so badly needed. We encourage you to call us if you have questions or want to provide some input for us here at the studios. The number is 844-788-3464 or 844-STUDIO-4. Give us a call and let us know what you think about this great effort that we have underway in the town of Cornelius. We would certainly welcome your questions or your phone calls. So this process sounds to me like that it will succeed based on the level of funding that we can find throughout the community. Certainly, speaking for the town of Cornelius, we can't afford to carry the entire load of this challenge. So where else do we turn to enhance our funding mechanisms to make this program as good as it could be for our town?
Well, obviously, any individual who wants to invest into it can do that, and they can do that through our website. There is a giving portal on that is secure. Again, that's lakenormancdc.org. But we have reached out to foundations. The Peninsula Community Foundation has just recently given us a lovely investment. And we are beginning to meet with employers. We have started having some conversations with banks, both I would say banks in Mecklenburg County, not just in Cornelius, because again, employers have a recruitment retention issue, and we all want less traffic, right?
Exactly.
So, and you talked about that 85%. So if people can live where they work, that's going to help 77 quite a bit. So we're in dialogue with some banks, and also investigating other foundation grant opportunities.
That's fantastic. It's a great cause here in our community. It needs to grow. It needs to move forward. And we're going to talk about the future once we come back in just a few minutes. This is Mayor Woody Washam with the Executive Director of the Lake Norman Community Development Corporation, and we'll be right back.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Looking for a night of laughs? Mike Goodwin, who's been on America's Got Talent, is coming to Kane Center for the Arts here in Cornelius. Saturday, September 9th. Kane Center for the Arts' 2024 fall season. Comedian Mike Goodwin, Saturday, September 9th. For more info, visit kanearts.org. Apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is almost here. The apple picking at Kerrigan Farms is a very short window. September 5th through the 30th, apple picking at Kerrigan Farms. Only in September. Book your experience now at kerriganfarms.com. Leonard Skinnard and ZZ Top, the Sharp Dress Simple Man Tour, this Friday at PNC Music Pavilion. Watch 2 iconic bands at a great venue. Leonard Skinnard and ZZ Top, this Friday at PNC Pavilion. Have you ever been to Davidson's Concerts at the Circles? This weekend you can go! Davidson's Concert at the Circles will feature 80s Nation, an 80s tribute band. Concerts at the Circles, Jeton Street by Clean Juice and Davidson. NASCAR is back at Darlington this weekend. Xfinity race starts at 3:30 on Saturday and Cup Series at 6 p.m. on Sunday. Thanks again to Drum Landscape Supply in Statesville for the Days of Darlington ticket giveaway contest at WSIC. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
I'm Holly Vale with your WSIC forecast. Partly sunny, then gradually becoming mostly sunny, the high near 81 for today. Tonight looks clear with a low around 57. 79 and sunny for Friday, with partly cloudy skies for Friday night and a low around 57. Saturday will be sunny with a high near 81. And Saturday night looks mostly clear with a low around 59. I'm Holly Vale from WSIC's Weather Center.
About Town continues now. Here's your host, Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam, on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
And we're back. This is Cornelius Mayor Woody Washam with Executive Director of the Lake Norman Community Development Corporation, Michelle Hoverson. Thanks again, Michelle, for your time today.
Thank you.
So we've moved to the last segment of our program, and I don't want this to go untouched until we start talking about what's coming in the future. Tell us a little bit about the development of this organization, how it moves forward, and what is on tap for the future? I know you've got a lot of thoughts and a lot of plans. You've got a great board, by the way, and I want you to talk about your board as well.
Yes.
A lot of folks giving a lot of time for that.
It is a working board, and I
Yes.
am very, very appreciative to all of them. We have retired banker George Sherrill, our chairman, just gives hours every week, and Dr. Mike Milchik is on it. Michael Carter, Sharon Lovelace, Nance Thomas Longworth, Joe Roy, a developer. Joe has put in hours and hours going to meetings with me. It's just been, obviously Wayne Herron represents the town on the board. And then we have another lady by the name of Zuzi Kadar, who's been in affordable housing for many years. So it's really a great group of individuals who are giving a lot of time. It's not come to a meeting and sign off on some things. They all are really putting their hands to the plow, and I'm very grateful to all of them. But our future, I think our future is really bright because I think that there's a momentum amongst a lot of organizations to work together. I've been very encouraged to also sit on the Huntersville Affordable Housing Task Force as they've been putting together an affordable housing plan, and to see the collaboration between towns has been wonderful to learn from one another. But there are initiatives, as I said, we're only about a year old. There's some initiatives that we're looking forward to. One is transitional housing. When you look at affordable housing, it's like a multicolored umbrella with many different panes on it. And rental assistance is one pane. Building new structures, providing new dwelling is another pane. Tax credit apartments, that's a pane. But then there's also this area of transitional housing, because we have people in our community who experience trauma and setbacks, and they just need a comma in their life. They need a pause. And so we're starting to look for a property that could be refurbished and turned into transitional housing, then it would be, we would bring in a program manager like a Hope House or something like that, Hope House Foundation to manage. But that's something that we need to provide in Cornelius. Or really as anything, there isn't transitional housing within Cornelius. You have to go into Huntersville for that. We're talking to some developers that have very creative solutions, proven solutions. And how could we bring them into the area? There's just a lot of creative housing being developed that doesn't take up a lot of footprint, but provides to those individuals that we're looking at that 60% to 100% average medium income, which is about $39,000 for one individual, $39,000 to $66,000 a year. So we have a lot of things that we're looking at to bring in next year, 2024. Just trying to get this rental bridge program established and solidified right now has kind of been our main goal. But we have some really interesting things, creative things on the horizon that we're investigating.
Absolutely, and I know that it's on my mind and certainly the mind of our commissioners, most of our commissioners, in relation to any project that comes our way.
Yeah.
The most recent one that has come our way to take a look at, it's certainly not approved yet, but it's in the process of being considered, is the new downtown Mills Market. And I know Mark Miller, the coordinator or developer of that particular project, is very interested in affordable housing. Isn't that correct?
Yes. In fact, he has he's designated a number of units in that project. We've had great conversation with him, and he's designated his support of the Lake Norman CDC, as well as actually designating a number of units in that new building to be at the affordable level, that 30% of income level.
That's fabulous, and I think any project that we consider, certainly that has got to be a part of it in the future.
Right. We ask the question, how are you? Are you addressing affordable housing? What can you do?
Right.
Yeah, it's just a matter of putting it at the forefront and having it on the radar. And then of course, we're all really looking forward to the Smithville redevelopment.
Yes, we are.
Project, and Lake Norman CDC will partner with them in the ways that are beneficial to them for us to partner with them. But that project is going to provide affordable housing to our community. It'll be down the road a little bit because building takes a while. That's not an immediate solution, but it's a wonderful solution on the horizon. And so we're very supportive of what they're doing and want to work with them in any way that we can.
Exactly. That is an exciting project and certainly a much needed project, and certainly flows hand in hand with our need for affordable housing in our town. So pretty excited about that. So folks out there that run businesses in our community and folks out there that work hard to make our community a better place, what can they do to help? What can folks really do to help other than give money? I think that's important to make note. Certainly money is important, and donations are critical. Absolutely. But there's other things folks can do. Is that correct, Michelle?
Yes, absolutely. One of the things that we need right now is we need introductions. We want people to know about the rental bridge program that meet our criteria. So if you have a friend who lives in Statesville and they work here in Cornelius, and they want to move in here, have them get a hold of us. See if they qualify for the program. We also, we're looking to talk with employers. We just think that human resource offices would really want to know about the rental bridge program and might want to make that available, the knowledge about it, to make it available to their employees. And also the seniors. As I said, we still have funding available for seniors for that senior rent relief program. So if you know of somebody who meets that criteria of earning less than $49,000, and their rent has gone up more than 15% this year, have them get a hold of us. So we need advertisers, and anybody can be a marketer of our program.
I think a true statement would probably be folks, many times, they just don't know where to turn.
Exactly.
Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah. There's a lot of programs in the Lake Norman area, North Mac area, for individuals who are in crisis. They're about to be evicted, or they can't make this month's rent, or they need food, clothing, things like that. There are a lot of those type of emergency crisis programs, but I haven't been able to find any programs like the programs we're operating. We really are filling a gap, and so getting the word out about those. This isn't an emergency assistance program. These are programs for people who are working every day, but our economy, inflation, et cetera, the housing prices are just making it really difficult for them to move forward.
There's no doubt about that, and that's why I think the event that you're having soon with the collaboration with the other nonprofits is so critical. I mean, I think the communication with that group, because there's different folks serving different segments of our population, and to collaborate with that group, I think is critical.
Yeah. One of the things that's happening at that September 21st North Mech Affordable Housing Network meeting is Dr. Bill McCoy has been assigned to do an update to the 2018 North Mech Affordable Housing status. And that report is getting ready to come out, and he'll be giving an executive summary, which I'm really looking forward to because it's hard data on what our area really looks like. We kind of get known as the lake community, and we're all affluent. And that is just it's really not the case. I don't know if you know this or not, but in North Mecklenburg, there are 4,000 children every night who don't sleep in a bed. They don't have a bed. So it's not that Lake Norman isn't just an affluent community. It's also filled with a lot of hardworking individuals that are in that middle class sphere, and they need some assistance that's not available to them. There are a lot of organizations that are funded to help people at below 60% median income. But once you hit about that 60% mark, you enter into a no man's land when it comes to support. So we want to make a difference.
Well, certainly
area.
growth brings challenges.
Yeah.
That's sort of what we're faced with. Our growth rate in Cornelius is not tremendous. Actually, it's pretty doggone low, but our surrounding communities, it's pretty doggone high.
Yes.
And with growth comes problems and challenges as
opportunities.
Opportunities. That's the way we need to define those. But you've got to stay on top of it. And certainly the Lake Norman Community Development Corporation is an integral piece of this puzzle. And I'm just so glad you're here, and we're so thankful for the work that you're doing. And we just look forward to a really, really fine, great future. I know I'm committed to helping any way I can,
Thank you.
We'll continue doing that. And so,
I appreciate the
opportunity. It's a great story to tell, Michelle, and thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate the support of the town leaders. They're visionaries, and I appreciate it very much. I appreciate being part of this community.
Thank you, listeners. Thanks for being with us today. Michelle Hoverson, Lake Norman Community Development Corporation. Mayor Woody Washam here. We'll see you next time.